everyone, and welcome once again to another episode of Radio Days with Gary Music Miller. I'm Dave Black, your co-host. This is the aforementioned Gary Music Miller, longtime voice at WKEE. He was there from 1978 until 2009, I believe.
Yeah.
Before that, he was at a couple of three more stations.
A tiny bit of work for him in 2010.
Yeah.
So we'll work for the first 3 months or so. It's difficult to dissipate a 31-year relationship.
Absolutely.
And, not have any contact with each other at all. So anyway.
We, as always, we're coming to you from the Museum of Radio and Technology, 1640 Florence Avenue in Huntington. Come see them when you get the chance. You're going to love what they have in here. Visit them online at mrtwv.org. Check out what they have to offer there for you to look at. And once you see it there, you'll say, I got to come there and see that. It's just, that's just the way it is.
I went to their website and somebody actually wrote, I wish I remembered the guy's name, said we went out, enjoyed the various displays, and I also got to meet a local celebrity, Gary Music Miller, while I was out there. So it was very nice. I wish I remembered your name. But I should have written it down or something, but I had very few notes for today. But go ahead.
Okay. You can get a hold of Gary a number of ways. We'll go over that at the end of the show.
Absolutely.
Plus, Gary's got a little quiz, I guess, something going on at the end of the show.
If we have the time. And
we'll make time, believe me.
Yeah, okay.
But go ahead.
Prior to getting into anything serious, let's mention the recent passing of the great Peabo Bryson.
Right.
Peabo Bryson, you'll know, he did duets. He was one of the voices of the 80s, along with people like James Ingram and just everybody knows Peabo Bryson that listened to music in the 80s, and he just passed away, and it's very sad.
Yep.
And I think there were a couple of other people that passed away too, but
yes.
He was the name that stuck out to me.
Yeah, he was 75 years old. I saw that.
75. Okay, I got a couple of years left.
Okay, today I'm going to spring something on Gary here. This is not anything he has laid his eyes on. The only thing we have talked about is that I am going to talk to him about something, and we're going to talk to you guys about something, and see if you have an inkling of what it is. Now, I know this is I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No,
believe
I'm glad
me,
you are.
But you have a knowledge of what I'm going to talk about, and I'm sure you're going to say, "Oh, wow, yeah, I remember that." But
well, I hope so. As the memory begins to fade, so do the memories. And I hope you're right. I hope whatever it is you have up your sleeve, I'll be able to.
Short sleeves on, so it wouldn't be much. I've got. I'm starting off with a question.
Okay.
What rock group had the most Billboard Top 40 hits through the decade of the 70s?
The most hits of the 70s. Had the rock group?
Yes, a group, not individual.
Would not be, my first guess would be the Bee Gees, only because they had a hit song in 1971 that went to number one, took some time off, and they came back and had Night Fever, Jive Talkin', Staying Alive. They just went forever. So that would be my first guess. I don't know if you would call them a rock group or not. But, is that incorrect?
They were at least a trio.
Is it correct?
That is incorrect.
That is incorrect. That would be my first guess.
Now, this is this is kind of a little cheat, because I'm going to include 69 in this, because late 69 a lot of records get released, but the single doesn't get released till the following year, in 70 or so.
Well, they certainly don't get Grammy notified until the next year.
Right.
How about the Eagles?
Nope.
And
that one surprised me too.
I would immediately guess solo artists like Elton John and maybe Phil Collins. Genesis.
No.
No.
Well,
Name me one of their songs and I'll probably get them. But this is a group that had the most hits in the 1970s.
right. The most top 40 hits, including 3 number ones.
3 number ones. And this should embarrass me. But and it probably will.
Well,
but,
let me.
Nobody else is really coming to mind.
Yeah. Let me go over this.
Somebody I played all the time. You played them all the time. Obviously, they had that many hits.
Yeah, you played them on the air, and you probably played them at home as well.
Did I ever meet them?
I'm not sure.
It's not Styx.
No.
Okay.
The answer is fairly clear. A band they had their moment in the sun, but they weren't very good. Three Dog Night stands out as the rock group with the most Billboard top 40 hits in the 70s, spanning their peak run from late 69 into the 1970s.
They just happen to be, as I mentioned many times, my favorite group of all time.
Their original members were vocalists Chuck Negron, Corey Wells, and Danny Hutton. Later, they added Jimmy Greenspoon on keyboards, Joe Shermy bass guitar, Michael Alsop lead guitar, and Floyd Sneed on drums. A side note: Jimmy Greenspoon, his mother was a silent movie star and starred opposite Valentino in a film.
Valentino.
So I thought that was interesting.
Three Dog Night had more 1970s hits than anybody else. I'll tell you, I've told this before. I'll tell you quickly. I found out that Three Dog Night was going to be in Paintsville, Kentucky, and I drugged my wife to Paintsville, Kentucky. It was like in some kind of a barn atmosphere or something. And I said, I'm going to see Three Dog Night before I die. And I don't know whether they ever came around here. Somebody told me they were once at the Huntington Regatta. Somebody told me they were once in Charleston. But I drove she and I drove all the way after I got off the air at 6 o'clock. And we made it to Paintsville by 7 to see the beginning of their show. And that's the only time I've ever drugged her to a show. And the first time I've ever gone anywhere. I never went to Spain. I never went to Cincinnati. I never went to Louisville. Never went to Lexington for a show. But I went to Paintsville for Three Dog Night.
So from 1969,
well, you got me on that one. That's
from 1969 to 1974, nobody had more Billboard top 10 hits, moved more records, or sold more concert tickets than Three Dog Night. During this period, they were undoubtedly the most popular band in America, with 21 consecutive top 40 hits. 21 consecutive. That's a lot. 18 straight top 20s, 11 top 10s, 3 U.S. number ones, and 7 million-selling singles, along with 12 gold LPs.
Well, I started in radio in 71. I started playing top 40 hit music in 1974. So many of those were pre-1974. One, of course, Jeremiah was a big Bullfrog, Joy to the World, which I have often said I did not like. I won't say I detest the song, but I didn't like it. It was one of their number one songs. I don't know whether I could guess what their other number one songs would have been.
Well,
but
besides,
I played songs like "Till the World Ends," which nobody's ever heard of. "The Show Must Go On." I played everything that they released.
Yeah,
and most of which were released from the time I was with Charlie Dunlap down in WCMI in 1974 to 76. If it had Three Dog Night on the label, I played it. That's how
Right.
much I liked them.
Two of their favorites that I liked that didn't reach.
Celebrate.
No, I liked One, and I liked Old Fashioned Love Song. Those are my two favorites.
Terrific songs.
Yeah.
Have you never been to Spain?
Right. Elvis covered that on one of his live albums and just knocked it out. It was great.
Have you never been to Spain?
Of their 21 top 40 hits, these three reached number one. Mama Told Me Not to Come,
Okay.
Joy to the World, and Black and White. Those three hit number one.
Black and White, wonderful.
And what makes this even more impressive is that their sound was a clever mix of rock, boogie, classic, and R&B. And they were the force behind those 21 straight top 40 hits. A record that gets consistently overlooked when people discuss the era's greatest bands.
Well, you make me proud to be a fan.
Yep.
And as a not made any bones about, they are my favorite band of all time.
Their closest.
And we did a show, and I did a show about the fact that everything they did were cover versions. And they really were. I mean, they covered other people's songs and did awfully well with them. Yeah. Did better than the original.
Right. Their closest rock band competition for sheer top 40 volume would be Chicago.
Okay.
The Rolling Stones, both of whom placed numerous singles throughout the decade, but neither matched Three Dog Night's concentrated streak of consecutive charting hits during the early to mid-'70s. Amazing. Three Dog Night is generally one of the most underrated success stories of the entire decade.
I will agree to that.
So there is you a little primer on who had the most hits in the 70s.
Yeah, I had no idea.
21 top 40 chart hits.
I'm going to trick Gary on his own favorite group, Dave said to himself, and he certainly did. That didn't even occur to me. And why not? I'm trying to think of these super groups, like the Eagles and the Beatles and, whoever else. But
and you mentioned Elton John.
I mentioned Elton John.
Elton John does hold the record for most top 40 hits for an individual act.
Does he?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there we go. Looks like we've eaten up about 10 minutes worth of time, I guess. Well, I don't know. We have time for a quick...
Nice seeing y'all. We'll see you.
Bye. No, I think we have time for this.
Go ahead.
This is a strange quiz that I came up with. And there are a lot of different ways I could, no fear of peeking.
Oh, I couldn't read it anyway. It's a subscript or some sort of hieroglyphics.
But there was, when I can get to this, I created this quiz, and I don't think it's been done by anybody else. I would bet it's been done by anybody else. It has not been, because I created it. And it's going to be seemingly simple, but I'll see how you do on it, and we'll see how they do on it.
If it's simple, I ought to ace this because I have a simple mind.
Yeah, exactly. I have 5 acts, and I'm going to tell you what the acts are. 5 groups or performers, and I'm going to tell you what 4 of their hit songs were. Simple enough. What else could you possibly want from me? I want you to think about these, and let's see, you might score 100 on this. I hope you do. What was the first of the 4 songs that I'm going to mention by each group to be released? Okay, does that make any sense to you?
Sure.
These are not definitely the first 4 songs this group or act had, but they are 4 randomly picked, actually 3 randomly picked songs. The 4th one is the first song the band ever released in the United States. Where's my water? Okay. So here we go. We'll go quickly. Fleetwood Mac is the first group I'm going to give you. See if you can come up with their first hit song. See if you can come up with their first hit song. And I'm giving you a choice of 4. Over My Head. Over My Head. That's my Christine McVie imitation. Say You Love Me. Say You Love Me. Rhiannon. And Go Your Own Way. Go Your Own Way. Which of those 4 songs, if you can remember them, I'll repeat them, was their first top 40 hit here in the United States? Do you know? Do you remember them? Did you write them down? What do you think?
Well, Go Your Own Way was from Rumors. That was their gigantic album in '77 that just went completely bananas in sales.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they released something before then. It's escaping me at this point.
Do you remember Rhiannon?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Say You Love Me?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember Over My Head?
Yeah. I'm going to say Over My Head.
Well, you're going to say absolutely right. Over My Head actually was sung by Christine.
Mm-hmm.
Over My Head. Christine McVie sang that song before Stevie Nicks sort of took over the band. It went to number 20. That's all it went to. Number 20 in 1975. And we give these numbers, we are giving the Billboard Hot 100 singles numbers. And I don't mention that all the time, but that's what we use. Say You Love Me was a year later, 1976, went to number 11. Rhiannon in 1976 went to number 11. And Go Your Own Way, 1976, only went to number 10. And they had various number 1 songs along the way. But you're absolutely right to give yourself a point. If you said Go Over My Head, give yourself a point. Next band I'm going to mention, I mentioned it before, the Eagles. What went to not number 1, but what charted on the United States Billboard Hot 100 first? Here are your 4 choices. Witchy Woman, Tequila Sunrise, Already Gone, and One of These Nights. Again, Witchy Woman, Tequila Sunrise, Already Gone, and One of These Nights. Which one of those was the first to chart in America on the Billboard Hot 100 chart?
That one's that's a little. I'm trying to put the dates together and trying to years together, and I'm going to say One of These Nights.
You're going to say One of These Nights. One of These Nights. Actually, out of the 4 songs, it's number 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
It went to number 1. You probably hit the first number 1 song they ever had. Possibly. It went to number 1 in 1974. In 1973, Already Gone went to number 32 in 1973. Tequila Sunrise went to number... I don't think this number is right, but I would be surprised if it was. I have it listed at number 64 in 1973. Tequila Sunrise was not a huge hit for them. But the very first song to hit the American Hot 100, Billboard Hot 100, was Witchy Woman. In 1972, it went to number 9 and was the breakthrough song for them. And then they had a zillion other hits after that. Feel free to fact check me if you'd like to. Let's mention Elton John. We just talked Elton John. He's got the most hits. So can he pick one out of four that was the first out of the four? It wasn't his first hit. I think undoubtedly his first hit was Your Song. I would not doubt that at all. Here we go. 4 Elton John songs. Which one hit the Billboard Hot 100 first? Crocodile Rock, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, Benny and the Jets, and Rocket Man. One of those songs hit before the other 3. Do you have it figured out at home?
I was getting ready to say Daniel.
Daniel, I did not list. Daniel, I think, was the #1 song for him.
Yeah.
But out of those 4 songs, which was the first to hit the Billboard Hot 100? And I almost made this a lot more difficult and time-consuming by having you name them in order. But I'm not going to do that.
Run the list by me one more time.
Crocodile Rock, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, Benny and the Jets, and Rocket Man.
Well,
what would be the first one of those songs to hit the chart?
Oh, gosh, man. So 17 million years ago, I'm going to say Rocket Man.
Rocket Man, okay. Well, once again, you came up with the last of the 4 songs to be released. Rocket Man went to #6, believe it or not. I would have thought it was the #1 song. In 1972. Benny and the Jets went to #1 in 1973. If I said 72 on Rocket Man, I was wrong on that. 73. 1972 song, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. And you know what? I think I'm going to have to give you that. I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you that because I have a star after it, and Rocket Man would be the first #1 song. He had in 1972 that went to #6. So out of those 4 songs, I'm going to give it to you. If you're Rocket Man, it's my fault for not being able to read my own writing. And he said Rocket Man. We're going to give that to you. So you got 1 out of 3 so far.
He had a song that didn't go very far, and that's why they changed the lyrics. He had Friday Nights All Good for Wrestling.
There you go. There you go. Or Monday Nights All Right for Football.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Blondie. I promise you I have the first song Blondie released out of these 4. Not necessarily the first song she released. The 4 songs are Call Me, The Tide is High, Heart of Glass, and One Way or Another. Now, those were 4 Blondie hits. Which one hit the chart first out of those 4? Call Me, The Tide is High, Heart of Glass, or One Way or Another?
I'm going to say Heart of Glass.
Heart of Glass went to #1 in 1978.
78? Goodness sakes.
Tide is High went to #1 in 1980. One Way or Another, #24 in 1979. And the first one of these songs was Heart of Glass. Which went to was in 1978. Call Me, 1979. Tide is High, 1980. And One Way or Another, 1979. So the first song out of 78 came Heart of Glass. And did you say that?
Yes.
Okay, you got it right. So that's
Call Me was a song on the soundtrack of a movie called American Gigolo.
Yes, indeed it was. And pushed it all the way to #1.
Mm-hmm.
One guy we've never talked about, and I want to talk a little bit about him because I really admired his work. And in this group is Billy Ocean. Now, Billy Ocean had more than 4 songs, but I'm going to mention 4 of them to you. Caribbean Queen, or Caribbean Queen. I think he sang it. Caribbean Queen.
You also sound like he said Caribbean Queen a couple of times.
Well, believe it or not, that was released in Europe as European Queen.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And they changed it to Caribbean Queen for over here and the UK and so forth because they thought it would be European Queen would be too obscure.
Too European.
Too European, exactly. Caribbean Queen, There'll Be Sad Songs to Make You Cry. That may or may not be one you remember. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. And Get Out of My Dreams and Into My Car. Out of those 4 songs, which one charted first? You want me to repeat them?
Yes, please.
Okay. Caribbean Queen, Caribbean Queen. There'll Be Sad Songs to Make You Cry. When the Going Gets Tough, the tough get going. And Get Out of My Dreams and Into My Car. Some of those could have been used in our parenthetical.
Yeah. I'm gonna say the second one you mentioned.
There'll Be Sad Songs?
Yeah.
Okay. That went to number 1 in 1985.
Oh, I'm off there.
When the Going Gets Tough, the tough get going went to number 1 in 1986. Get Out of My Dreams, Into My Car went to number 1 in 1987. And in 1984, Caribbean Queen.
That was 84.
Went to number 3.
Wow.
Went to number 2, actually. Caribbean Queen. It was his second ever chart song.
Now, of course, he had a hit in the 70s.
Yes, and that we're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Billy, got to mention he was born on January 21st, 1950, which happens to be my birthday 5 years later. So if I'm 71, he's 76, and he's still going strong. His real name, pardon me, time for a drink. Here we go. Billy Ocean's real name was Les Charles. Sounds like the band leader for Bob Hope or somebody like that. He recorded temporarily under the name of Les Charles. And he released songs from 1969, I believe, all the way up to the song they just referred to, and we'll talk about. He managed to chart under the name of Billy Ocean in I believe the song was in 1976, and the single was called, remember it?
I had it on the tip of my tongue.
Love really hurts without you.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Love really hurts.
It was a good song.
It was a wonderful song. 1976. It went to number 2 in the UK, number 3 in Australia, and a big number 22 on the Billboard Hot 100. So it was not a huge song here, and a lot of people don't remember it, and I congratulate you for remembering it. It was what broke him onto the chart in 1976. But from 1976, from 1971 to 76, I mentioned this, he had 4 singles that went absolutely nowhere. The 5th single was Love Really Hurts Without You. It was a global hit. It charted in the UK, the US, Canada, Germany, the Netherlands, New Zealand, and Sweden. So if anybody says that's not a big hit, only because it went to number 22 in America, they're wrong. It was a big hit. It was a big hit. He had 3 other songs in 70 that were never charted or anything like that in the 1970s. It took him from 1976 to 1984 to come back. And 1984 is when he released Caribbean Queen. It went to, if I can read this, the lighting in here is so terrible. It entered the Billboard Hot 100 at number 86, and it went to the top of the Hot 100 10 weeks later. Number 85 to number 1 10 weeks later. I just mentioned that. He won the 1985 Grammy Award for the Best R&B Male Vocal Performance, which was a great thing for a comeback hit for somebody. When the Going Gets Tough, Tough Get Going went to number 1 in the UK, went to number 2 in the United States in 1983, I believe, or possibly 85. Sounds better. Number 1 US song was There'll Be Sad Songs to Make You Cry. That was his first number 1 song in the United States, and it was released in 1985. In 1988, Get Out of My Dreams, Get Out of My Car was a US number 1 song, number 2 song in the UK. In 1985, he reached number 2 with a slow song called Suddenly. A lot of people don't remember it, but it's Suddenly You Find Yourself in Love. And he also did a song called Lover Boy, which made the top 5 in the US. He said that his stage name, Billy Ocean, came from let me get this right, it was a football team, and everybody thought it was because he crossed the oceans or because he was doing a song about the Caribbean and ocean would fit. No, he said, and this is his quote, it came from a football team in his hometown. And I didn't know that they played football in Trinidad and Tobago, I believe is what that's called. But the football team was called the Oceans. And out of that came the name change, Billy Ocean. And there's a little history on Billy Ocean. I thought I'd throw that out because he's one of my favorite acts. One of my favorite singers. I liked everything he did. I loved Love Really Hurts Without You, which was released, like I said, in 1976, I believe. I pair that with Prince's very first song. Prince's very first song was around 1976. It was called I Want to Be Your Lover. And I want to be your lover. And not too many people remember that song. They don't remember Prince up till the Purple Rain era in the 1980s. But Prince had his first hit song at the same time that Billy Ocean did his.
Yeah.
So
now Billy Ocean, I always heard that the name change came from when after he was, what it was, Les Brown, his Band of Renown or whatever it's called. He changed it to, before he got to Billy Ocean, he changed it to Jimmy Estuary, and it just didn't sound very good.
No.
So he tried Tide Pool and a couple of others, but it never didn't work. But the ocean stuck, I guess.
Billy C. Well, Billy Ocean, that's a little history for you on Billy Ocean. I may have gotten a couple of the dates wrong. The lighting in here is absolutely horrible, and my eyes are not in much better shape. But that's a story of Billy Ocean to tag on with his little thing he did for me on the 70s. And you really got me on the 70s. I didn't. There were a lot of hit records out in that time period. I'll finish up just in case somebody watched the last show. Did you by any chance hear Keith Hampshire, First Cut is the Deepest? Did you not think it, you can tell me if you didn't like it, but was it not one of the best renditions of the song ever released?
It was fine. The arrangement was different than a lot of other people do.
Yeah, and the arrangement is really what made that song. His voice may have been a little gravelly, a little David Clayton Thomas-ish, but when they go get into that trumpet part in the middle of the song, I wanted you to listen to one more Keith Hampshire song. Keith's daughter, I mentioned, I think before, followed me on Twitter when I mentioned song. I had a tendency to bring up songs and say, listen to this song. You've never heard it, but it's a great song. And they disagrees with about 90% of what I think were great songs. But Keith Hampshire put out one more song. In fact, he had several songs in Canada. He was born in the UK. He had his hit records in Canada. And I said last week, or last show, that I was going to mention another song by Keith Hampshire. And I mentioned this to you in the past. The song is called Big Time Operator. And Dave will put a link to it. It's a funny song because he found so many different jobs that rhymed with operator. At one time, he was an elevator operator. At one time, he was a news commentator. He was a wine and brandy waiter. I mean, he just keep, and with every verse he sings, but he goes, I'm going to be a big time operator. And then he starts talking about, for a while I was a brandy waiter. And he goes into like all these different jobs that rhyme with big time operator. And for that, the song to me deserved my attention. And every time I'd hear it, I was like, how is he doing that? How is he coming up with that many songs that rhyme, and that many lines that rhyme with big time operator? And I will tell you that the song was released in the United States. I think it went to I think maybe his big time, First Time is the Deepest, or Big Time Operator barely made the top 100. And part of the reason is that, as I mentioned this before, Detroit and Canada are side by side pretty much. And songs that made it in Canada, radio station was CKLW, and they would be played on American radio because whoever was programming the radio station in Detroit decided they liked the song and played it, and it barely broke it onto the charts. But Keith Hampshire, just a marvelous singer, marvelous Canadian singer. And if we have any Canadian listeners, and I know we have one, and if you're interested in discovering new music or old music that you've never heard, check out Keith Hampshire. I think you'll enjoy it. And
I am certainly glad that he didn't have a severe case of gas when he was going over those.
He would become a flatulent.
Yes,
I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think that's one he left out because he didn't make any money at that.
As you can see, my juvenile nature takes over from time to time.
That's good. That's good. And there's another word that we definitely don't want to mention on here.
Well, I would if you
that rhymes with that.
I would believe so.
We would be kicked off.
But there
YouTube forever.
There's a you got to hear this. So
that's the you got to hear this for this week. You got to hear Keith Hampshire. If you find any more Keith Hampshire songs on YouTube, you will. There were other songs that did better than the songs that I mentioned, but those were the two. They were released on A&M Records here in the States. And I think my A&M rep was just a surprise that I liked it. I liked his stuff as anybody because A&M released him, but they did not expect them to do very well, which they didn't. But the A&M guy would come into town and I'd say, you got to work this Keith Hampshire guy. He's too talented. And I'd mention those songs and he'd say, I'll take that back with me. And he'd take it back with him and then it'd go in the circular wastebasket,
Yeah, file 86.
File 86. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm done.
Okay,
I'm done.
well, if we're done, then that's it. What you need to know is you can get a hold of this guy on X. He's at Gary Music Miller. You can get a hold of him on his email address is rdwgmm@gmail.com. Send him a note. You can drop a comment down below the video here and just say, if you just want to say hi, how you doing, that's fine. If not, comment on the program.
And let me know whether you like any of these. You got to hear these songs because I would like to know if I am alone or if we over here in the States missed a song that we should have had.
So with that said, we are finished for now. We appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. We ask you that you would like, share, and subscribe, and join us next time. So until we see you again, everybody take care of yourselves, and God bless. We'll see you next time.